What's going on, guys, and welcome back to episode 73 of the Nintendo Tonight podcast. Quick apologies on not getting an episode out last week. That's on me. I was supposed to edit, and I did not edit because I did not have the time. But, you know, it's a blessing in disguise, I would say, because we recorded episode 73, and we have a banger segment that we are going to be transitioning to later on in this episode. But after we recorded, and Mac and PJ, y'all can speak to this, every time it would seem like we record an episode of Nintendo Tonight, we're kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel for news to talk about. Not
it's
always,
so
but a lot of time there's like no news.
In that segment, we talked about Wave Race 64 music coming to Nintendo Music. Like,
Speaking
there was
of
no
Nintendo
news.
music, speaking
No
of
news.
Nintendo music,
Oh,
tracks from the Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword has just been added to Nintendo music.
That's a great soundtrack to have
Based.
there, but I just don't care. I just don't care.
the best part of Tuesdays.
That is literally the news we talk about, the Nintendo music updates, because they never have any news, but it seems like we record the podcast and then like the biggest news of the week comes out like mere hours or, you know, within the next 24-hour period of after we record the podcast. So, ironically enough, this will actually, I think, make the episode better because we have bigger and better news to talk about, including one of the craziest Switch 2 leaks I think we've ever gotten. I know, you know, we all know how we feel about talking about Switch 2 leaks, but this one is, at least it's funny. I'll just say that. At least it's really funny. And then also, the Game Awards happened last Thursday. We are going to be taking a look at those, looking at the winners, the losers, which Nintendo was the biggest loser we will talk about, not winning a single Game Award nomination. But also, we'll talk just very briefly about any reveals that we thought were interesting, and then we will transition into the segment we recorded last week, which is an absolute banger, and then a fan question at the end we also recorded last week, so stay tuned for that. But first, let's talk about the news. We're skipping right by news that missed the cut. I don't want to talk about Nintendo music. Let's jump into this leak DBrand extravaganza. So for those of you who do not know, DBrand is a company. I'll start there. They do like accessories, but more so like cases for phones or skins for phones or really they've kind of just branched out to any form of electronics. I believe actually Marquez Brownlee is like a part owner of DBrand now, which is kind of interesting. But anyway, that's unrelated. They I guess, you know, my Nintendo News is calling them a peripheral manufacturer. I mainly know them for their like skins, the like adhesive skins that you peel onto products. But apparently they make cases too. They make phone cases and Switch 2 cases. Because interestingly enough, we can take a look at DBrand's Twitter account. They are already showing us full promotional material images for their Switch 2 case. Reminder, Switch 2 has not been revealed or shown off at all. Not only are they, so their Kill Switch case, thank you, Jack, for pulling this up. The Kill Switch case
believe that.
is the name of the, you know, original Switch case, and this is the Kill Switch 2. And they have a full, like, Switch 2 tab on their website. So they're, I guess, also semi-confirming the name of being Switch 2. And then the case itself, they have these Kill Switch 2 case with, you know, there's a GIF that we just saw on the website that someone brought over to Twitter or X.com. DBrand's official account tweeted out just the link to the website with a like images of the case. I am just kind of lost for words. I feel like I don't really know how this sort of manufacturing thing works. I would assume though that you have to get some sort of licensing from Nintendo to use to make, like, maybe it's not an official accessory by Nintendo. If it was, it's not anymore. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But I'm curious your guys' thoughts on this because I haven't seen a like big accessory company like DBrand just come out and be like, oh yeah, we're just gonna do it ourselves. Like, we're just gonna show you all this ourselves, which seems insane to me.
When we were all in call watching the Game Awards last Thursday night, this got posted on Twitter. And I saw it, and I was like, oh, that's funny. And I sent it to you guys in our Discord being like, oh, this is ridiculous. And then it turns out to be real. I sent it thinking it was a joke. I thought this was a joke that they were trying to engagement bait.
I thought that too,
or
originally.
something. But is this the real Switch 2? Like, how are they allowed to do that? Like, there's got to be some rule against against showing what the Switch 2 looks like if this is what it is. Which the CEO says it is. They say it's
kind of like getting around kind of exactly what they're allowed to do. Like they're kind of tiptoeing around and just being just sure enough that they're not breaking any rules because like, you know, they're showing the case, which is their product, but they're actually not showing the Switch. And I guess that's okay. It was wild though. Like I remember I sent this in like the group chat, I think, or something like that. Or no, you did. Like you said, yeah. It's so weird, man. Like this has never happened. It kind of makes me think that the opinion of people saying the Switch 2 is supposed to be revealed way earlier, and now because of all of these leaks and all of this kind of stuff is coming out, like this is why. I don't know. I would give some credence to it. Like it's very strange. I just can't even believe that we're not seeing the console, but we're seeing peripheral companies give us more info than Nintendo has. Like you can actually make that argument because we've learned about the magnetic Joy-Cons that, you know, are supposed to be the big selling point of the new console, which, you know, that's another topic, but weird, man.
Ridiculous.
Weird time.
Very odd. The couple things I'll point out. Oh yeah, so Jack is
cool.
Pointing out the kickstand. The kickstand is pretty neat. It's got like kind of the Switch OLED design, except it's not all the way across. It's kind of just a U going around the back of the Switch. I don't really know what that giant blue rubber band looking thing on the back of it is. I don't know if that's another kickstand or I think it is, actually. It looks like it is, but I don't really know what that's supposed to be because there is a kickstand otherwise there. The only like other things I'll point out are this once again confirms the fact that there will be a second button underneath the screenshot or underneath the home button, that's shaped like the screenshot button. I'm still leaning towards this being a social button, like that opens up some party chat menu. It's so funny that there's so much discussion around these leaks and so much discussion around like this one kind of generally agreed upon model of what the Switch 2 is going to be, which has the magnetic attaching Joy-Con, like the bigger size and all of that. But then it's like there's a whole new button and no one's really talking about it, which I just kind of surprises me. I feel like that it would be like one of the main things to talk about. If we go back to the DBrand website, just really quick, the one thing I will also point out is that behind the rotating GIF of the model, which, again, the CEO has confirmed to Insider Gaming, I believe it was, that this is the actual the model Switch inside of that is the actual Switch 2. Yeah, it's the actual Switch 2 model, specs, all that, which is just, again, insane. But not that this is really any surprise to us. Behind the rotating GIF of the Switch 2 is MMXXV, which for Roman numerals is 2025. I'm like 99.99999% sure. So they're, I guess, saying that the product Kill Switch 2 and also the Switch 2, I guess, by proxy, would be releasing in 2025. Not surprising to anyone, but just another point of confirmation, I guess, to anyone who would think that they would like announce it and then it wouldn't release until 2026. I don't know what you're on if you think that's the case, but maybe there are people out there who believe that. I don't know. Just absurd. I've never seen anything like this. I really can't believe this happened. Like,
yeah,
I'm just at
it doesn't actually feel real. Like it feels like a joke. It feels like a skit of some sort. Like there's no way that a company that makes peripherals for the Switch would just like leak what the Switch 2 looks like. That's just it feels insane to me. It feels like they're waiting for some sort of lawsuit coming their way. Like it feels
actually
it doesn't feel like it should. How is this allowed?
It has the exact same vibes as when Epic Games allowed, like, circumvented the App Store and Google Play Store's thing for in-app purchases on Fortnite Mobile, because god dang it, I hate this Apple thing where it shows up with the thumbs up while I'm making a point. But they have this thing basically a way back. Just a super quick recap. It is, you are not allowed to pay for things within apps. You have to, like, on the App Store, you have to go through the App Store so Apple can take a 30% cut of any revenue that in-app purchases generates. It sucks. I hate that, but that's just the way it is. And then they what just confuses me is, like, they did that, like Epic Games did this back in the day and was like, yeah, they knew they were about to get sued. They had like a whole cinematic ready to like announce their lawsuit once Apple took Fortnite off of the App Store. And it kind of just feels like they're almost poking the bear. DBrand is doing it in the same way. Jack just pulled up the Verge article that states, it seems DBrand is reasonably confident in its case, but we asked CEO Adam Ijaz, I believe that's how you pronounce it, to be sure. He says DBrand has, quote unquote, actual dimensions, not an educated guess, based on a, quote, 3D scan of the real hardware. Which, again, that makes sense. Nintendo, like, companies will give, like, manufacturer companies advanced looks at dimensions and whatnot. Like, even Apple does this with, like, phone cases to, like, their certified partners or whatever, just so those companies can have that sort of thing ready by launch. And then apparently when The Verge asked how the CEO knows that, he only said, nice try, Nintendo. So he literally is poking the bear. He's like expecting a lawsuit almost. They must either have a crack team of lawyers and know that this is 100% allowed. Because I guess like they're not really sharing like Nintendo's classified information. Or maybe they are. Dude, I don't know. None of this makes sense to me. I'm not.
Any
There's
lawyers
more
watch the
risk than
podcast, leave a
reward.
comment.
I'm not sure
I agree.
the promotion they're getting from releasing this is going to lead to sales. I think this is a dumb move on their part. But hey, if they want people to see their name DBrand all over Twitter with, you know, the leaked Switch 2, by all means do it. It's more stuff for us to talk about, but I think it's stupid. And yeah, that's how I feel about it.
It kind of lessens the announcement as well. I think you were talking about this yesterday, Mac, because it's like, if this is real and we're like, you know, obviously 100% sure that this is real just based on what we've kind of learned in this article plus the Verge article, it's like when it actually gets revealed, we've heard rumors that it's going to be on the same OS, so it's not like we're going to have this, you know, magic new home screen that we're excited about or anything like that, or any charm that, you know, we've had in like past Nintendo consoles. Like, we know about the Joy-Cons, we've seen the new button. I don't think there's gonna be like that shock factor. Of course, like it's not gonna compare to the first Switch, because what can? But when it actually gets revealed, I could see people going like, okay, you know, cool, but this stuff has just come out. We know too much to where, like, the shock value, I don't think is gonna be there unless they're hiding something that we obviously don't know yet.
Yeah, I think, in my opinion, I think they're gonna have to lean more on their games. They're gonna announce with the new console. Like, if they show off the Switch 2, if the Switch 2 looks like this, and then it looks kind of like, okay, this is a sequel console, and then they show a 3D Mario at the end, I'm gonna be happy for the next year. So like, yeah, I think the reveal being like less exciting,
possibly,
underwhelming is possible, but I think the fact that a new console at all is coming will be exciting no matter what.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm with you.
It's just very odd. Odd times in the Nintendo community. Hopefully, you know, within the next few weeks or months even, we will have some actual news to talk about from Nintendo. But until then, we are feasting on the scraps that DBrand is throwing at us. Yeah, so interesting enough. Now let's talk about the Game Awards, boys. The Game Awards happened. We all watched them. It was something that happened every year. Nintendo won nothing. Which is kind of shocking because normally they win even like the family category or whatever, and that didn't happen. Zelda won nothing. Mario Party won nothing. Thousand Year Door won nothing. Nothing won anything from Nintendo. Womp womp. What are you gonna do? Balatro, I will say, did win everything it was nominated for except for Game of the Year, which went to Astro Bot, the 3D Mario, not copycat, but game inspired by 3D Mario. And then the developers even went up there and were like, we can't say who inspired us, but there was
this gray box. There was this gray box in 1989 with this funny little cartridge, this dude in red.
Yeah, they basically gave Nintendo a huge shout out in their Game of the Year acceptance speech without actually doing it for a Sony exclusive game that was developed with the sole purpose of, you know, shouting out a bunch of Sony IP. So that was crazy. Most anticipated game, GTA 6 won that, not even close to a surprise. But I will mention it because Metroid Prime 4 was was announced for it. But yeah, besides that, Astrobot was probably the big, or I guess it was the big winner of the night, taking home Game of the Year and Best Game Direction. Best Narrative went to Metaphor ReFantazio, which won a couple of other awards, including Art Direction and whatnot. But yeah, no, Balatro won all the indie game stuff, which, again, super happy for. But there was no Nintendo winning at all, and also no real big Nintendo announcements at all. I don't think I'm mistaken on that, but I don't think they really showed anything at all. So yeah, interesting stuff, and I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on just another Game Awards coming and going. And then we can dive into some of the non-Nintendo announcements, like that might have us excited. I know I'm personally stoked for Witcher 4, but we'll get into that.
I mean, we watch the Game Awards every year just to let the people behind the curtain a little bit. We all get in Discord every year. We sit there and we watch the Game Awards. It's tradition at this point. We put ourselves through the torture and, all of Jeff Keighley's memes, so to say. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think Nintendo's losing any sleep, not winning any awards or anything. But I think what I took from this is if you're not going to release any massive games in a year, don't really expect to win anything. Like, I mean, I guess the shoo-in you would think would have been a Jamboree winning family game. But I mean, again,
they lost
Astrobot,
the Nintendo category,
which is so insane. I think
they had three games in there.
Yeah.
They lost to Astrobot. I think the biggest
No, I was just going to say, can we be so honest? Like, I wouldn't put Echoes of Wisdom or Princess Peach Showtime as a family game. Like, I categorize, like, Jamboree as that, but I don't know, maybe a dry category. Who knows?
Yeah.
I think the most interesting thing about this is Astrobot winning. The fact that a 3D platformer not made by Nintendo won Game of the Year is so fascinating to me. Like, first of all, going on Twitter or TikTok after the Game Awards was hilarious, seeing all of the Black Myth Wukong fans coping and crying that the little robot Astrobot won Game of the Year. I thought that was hilarious because those
people aren't real. Has to be a bunch of TikTok AI bots.
Yeah, I love seeing games that are more about like the fun aspect and not all about like the graphics win. Like, to be fair, I haven't played any of the games except Balatro, so who am I to say? But it is nice seeing the cartoony platformer win, for one. And number two, it's gotta light a fire under Nintendo's butt. I feel like seeing their biggest rival, I think Sony's their biggest rival, win Game of the Year with a 3D platformer, the thing they have owned for 35 plus years. Well, I don't know if 3D platformers are that old, but you get what I mean. Like, that is insane. Yeah. A 3D platformer hasn't won Game of the Year before, and Sony did it on their first try. Nintendo's got to be seeing this like, we got to put out the best 3D Mario game of all time now.
I mean, we know it's coming. Mm-hmm. It's just, that's also, I was going to mention that if you didn't, like, Astrobot winning that, it's going to push Nintendo to be even better, because when there's actual legitimate competition, it seems that Nintendo kind of, like, always one-ups, no pun intended, the opposition, of course. Yeah.
One-ups. I like it. I agree with everything you said there. I think as gaming fans, the general gaming community, I don't know if this is like going back all the way back to like console wars or just like that kind of mentality has persisted or what it is. I don't know if it's just like the type of people who play video games are a bit like a specific type of person, but competition is always a good thing in like any industry ever, especially in our like a creative industry like gaming. There, like, you see this with any sort of game that comes out, whether it's, games that are very similar, like Marvel Rivals just launched. I played a bit of that, and people are like comparing it to Overwatch. Obviously, it borrows a lot from Overwatch. It probably wouldn't exist if Overwatch didn't exist. But like, if you're an Overwatch fan and you're upset about Marvel, I don't understand that mentality. Like, same thing here. Like, if you're a Nintendo fan upset that Astrobot won, why? It doesn't. The only possible thing it could do is make your game better, like the game that you care about better, and it also gives you more options if you happen to have a PS5 and want to play a fun 3D platformer. This just won Game of the Year. So, like, I never understood the mindset of, like, competition being anything but a positive for most industries, but, like, for the end consumer. I'm sure Nintendo, is probably a little peeved about this maybe here. Maybe they don't even know what the Game Awards is. But like...
Wouldn't be surprised.
I don't know. It's just very, very, very odd to see people like upset that Astrobot won. If you're upset because you think like Balatro should have won, completely fair. I understand that. I'm not upset. I don't think Balatro should have won, but I wanted it to win. But like, as a Nintendo fan or as a 3D Mario fan, to be upset about Astrobot's success is to actively be rooting against the potential future of your own franchise. So I just want to make my stance on that clear. I think competition is always a good thing for the end consumer. I have no problem with Astrobot winning. I haven't played the game because I don't have a PS5. But if I ever get one, I'm definitely picking it up because it looks really fun. So, yeah. Congrats to Astrobot. I think now we can talk about some of the games that have been announced at the Game Awards. There were some interesting ones. I will say that the biggest one, I guess the biggest one that's probably in a Nintendo like sense of the matter would be probably Sonic Racing Crossworlds, which is a new Sonic racing game. Because those always do well on the Nintendo consoles. Okami is getting a sequel, which is super cool.
So excited.
So that's gonna be quite neat. There's like in terms of like games that are gonna be on Nintendo, I'm sure there are other games that were announced that are gonna be on Nintendo consoles. Like Slay the Spire 2 probably will be. Like those sort of like indie or smaller games will be, but the biggest announcement for me at least was with The Witcher 4. I'm not super familiar with the Witcher series, but this is developed by CD Projekt Red. I've been on record saying I'm a huge Cyberpunk 2077 fan now. I think they've like truly like reworked that game into something just brilliant, something that no other game really can compete with. I think hopefully they learn from the mistakes of that game's launch though and truly give this one as much time as possible. I love that they didn't really show like it's pure cinematic trailer. I know, you know, it's kind of crazy to praise someone for like a pure cinematic trailer, but I think it just kind of shows that like they know they're very early in development here. We already knew they were working on a Witcher game. Just learning that like Ciri is the main character. I'm excited for this. I love CD Projekt Red. I think this will be a banger. And so yeah, that was my big announcement of the Game Awards. But I'm curious if any other announcements to you guys really stood out, or if it was just kind of like, yeah, everything was everything kind of business as usual from your perspectives.
Yeah, Matt, go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't have really any big announcements for me. I'm going to be completely honest.
Oh my God. That's so crazy. I totally didn't say go ahead because I also agree with that. Haha, for sure.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll say one.
Yeah, no, I will too.
What was the game at the very, very end that was like there was a big cinematic? It was like the space one, kind of seemed like a
the Naughty Dog
kind of one.
Yeah, the Naughty Dog one.
That one kind of looked kind of neat.
That one will be good. I mean, it's
I don't remember
game,
the name of it. Yeah, but
it'll be pretty.
It looked
good.
pretty cool.
Dude, I just remember that Metroidvania that like Bandai Namco or whatever is doing.
The
that
Pac-Man
looks sick.
Shadow.
The Pac-Man thing.
That's actually a good one.
Dude,
That's a good one.
that
Shadow
looks
Labyrinth.
Crazy. Like
that
what
looks
a
fun.
random announcement. It is. Jack says it's gonna be peak. I agree. Yeah, dude.
Slay the
it's
Spire 2 is going to be big. Yeah, I might actually get into the first Slay the Spire because I've heard a lot of positive comparisons with Balatro. It's also a deck builder, but yeah. So my sister.
That Metroidvania is gonna be hard too.
Yeah, it's called Shadow Labyrinth. It's like a dark, gritty Pac-Man Metroidvania. A genre twisting alternate take on Pac-Man is what Capcom is calling it. Yeah, the game is called Shadow Labyrinth. It's confirmed to be coming to the Nintendo Switch. It does just look kind of weird. Yeah, I think Jack is pulling it up right now. It's a you can kind of like use the arrow key to just tap through it, but it's like it did not look like a Pac-Man game until you just kind of see the little Pac-Man guys start following around, and yeah, it's like a hand.
No, this actually looks pretty sick.
It does.
Dude, I made a joke. I think like people were AFK, and I think Kagan was the only one there, and I was like, we saw the Bandai Namco logo. I was like, Pac-Man.
No, I heard.
Pac-Man.
Yeah.
And then he was like, dude,
Pac-Man.
It's not gonna be Pac-Man. And he's like, oh my God, is that like it was so
it's
random,
ridiculous.
dude.
So this is just
interesting
cool.
take, though.
It's creative. I mean, I like any sort of creative ideas.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm stoked to see how this one goes. I don't know if I'll get it, but if the review scores are good enough, I totally will. So yeah. Coming 2025, confirmed for Nintendo Switch. But yeah, besides that, not a ton, especially if you're a Nintendo fan, not a ton of news, which
Shocking.
Isn't super,
wow.
Yeah, not super surprising,
No way.
but just wanted to point that out because we said we would cover the Game Awards. And so that is our Game Awards coverage.
There you
Yeah,
go.
okay. So I guess in that case, we're just going to be moving on to the segment that we recorded last episode. Before we do, though, just wanted to say this will, in all likelihood, be the last Nintendo Tonight of the year. Just as the year ends, it's hard to keep up the weekly schedule. Just
Busy
full stop
times.
with the holidays and obviously the main channel content on Switch Stop. Mac is celebrating by having a amazing holiday getup and Christmas light necklace and all of
I
that.
love
If I
It
had a
was
Santa
supposed
hat,
to
I would be
light up,
wearing
but
it.
I put the batteries in, and it was like the really most depressing, like barely lights up light bulbs of all time. It's like,
Oh,
I'm just
no.
Yeah, no bueno.
no.
But yeah, no. Thank you guys all for watching. Thank you if you are a new Nintendo Tonight fan, if you've joined us this year, or if you've been around since the beginning. Thank you for all the support in 2024. We're gonna have some interesting. 2025 is gonna be an interesting year for Nintendo and Nintendo Tonight by proxy. Obviously, we're excited for Switch 2 and all that means for the podcast. Probably some format changes as well to the podcast. Maybe doing some live shows. Maybe starting some members stuff. We're gonna be talking about it, seeing what's the best step forward. But yeah, so with that out of the way, thank you guys all for the support this year. And we will see you all in the next year, but you will see us right now with that segment we recorded last week. So enjoy. Thank you guys for watching.
I've got a super special segment planned for
I'm
today.
stoked.
Actually,
Excited.
I've got two options for segments today.
Oh.
Option A or option B. You guys actually get to decide. So I'll give you guys some time to figure out which one you want to do. Option A or option B.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna feel
Any
bad
other
regardless. Yeah.
Nope. That's it.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna feel bad
Option A
regardless.
or
'cause
option
you,
B?
You made like 2 segments and we're only using one. So.
I guess so.
Huh.
B's got to be better, right? B for better.
That's where I was gonna go. I was gonna go with B, the soul read. Yeah.
B?
All right, B's
Yeah,
out.
let's do
Read
it.
that. Let's run it.
Let's rip it.
Jack, can you pull up segment B for me?
All
Welcome,
right.
everybody. Here is our segment for today. Jack, if you'll go on to the next slide. That was the illusion of free choice. They're both the exact same
okay.
segment. They're both the
Well
exact
played.
same segment,
Ridiculous.
which if you
Well
go to the
played.
next slide, we're doing Would You Rather again.
Nice.
It's always been Would You Rather, and it will forever be Would You Rather. Today you'll have lots of choices, but not the segment because it was always going to be Would You Rather.
That's so good.
Okay.
Well done. Well done.
I like it.
Well
Claps,
done. I
claps
love
up
that.
for Mac.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, you got me stoked for some vintage Would You Rather right now.
Yeah.
We've
Haven't done
got
that in a minute.
7 questions for you guys today. We haven't done Would You Rather in
God, you
maybe like
spoil
a
us, Mac.
year. Maybe since like not last hiatus, but the hiatus beforehand. We have not
I've
done
lost
Would You
track,
Rather in
man.
a while. And I've got to say, these are some of the weirdest, there's some like normal ones in there for sure, but there's some weird Would You Rathers in here. So I'm excited to hear your guys' thoughts.
I'm ready.
If
it.
we want to go into the first one, Jack, would you rather magnetic Joy-Cons or literally anything else? Let's discuss.
Okay, so I'm gonna be honest, like, this is kind of hard. And the reason it's kind of hard is because magnetic Joy-Cons, right? Maybe they're fixing the drift. This is like major copium, right? But maybe they fix the drift, and that's one of my biggest issues, like with the Switch, obviously. Like, one of the best Nintendo consoles of all time. Don't even have to say that, but maybe it fixes the drift, but I don't know. Literally anything else is looking also pretty appealing. Like,
Yeah,
because at face value, it's kind of...
At face value, the fact that literally anything else could be literally anything else, I feel like I have to go with that. I feel like I have to
Right?
go with that. They could be Joy-Con worth their weight in gold. And like they could put winning lottery tickets inside every Switch.
That's
literally
true.
anything. Maybe
That's true.
like realistically though, maybe a dual screen or a camera attachment, like those would all be a lot cooler, I think, than magnetic Joy-Cons. I understand magnetic Joy-Cons. I'm excited for them. But they're kind of like more of a somewhat hardware upgrade rather than like a new idea, which
Interesting.
True.
So
I
don't
mean,
know, we
yeah.
might disagree here.
I'm going with literally anything else because I think the quote unquote leak that we talked about before, I think the dual screen thing is kind of appealing to where there's like a USB-C port on the top and bottom. So maybe there's like a smaller screen that is not like heavy enough to where it's gonna like snap out. So that's what I'm hoping for. So I'm going with that.
All right.
Literally anything else it is.
Thomas, where are you going with?
Literally anything else.
Wonderful.
I wonder if we get to find out what this anything else is.
No, it's
Oh,
literally
just-
anything else.
Literally anything
Just any,
else. Okay, then
literally
yeah,
anything
100%,
else.
Literally anything else.
Next one. Would you rather between these two old, unused Wii patents, either figure A inflatable saddle horse riding game for the Wii, or a Wii football?
Oh, Wii football. I
Yeah.
think that's easy for at least North Americans.
Yeah, I would go Wii
I would
football
go easily football.
solely, not even if for like somehow there was a law against me ever playing it. I think Wii football solely because that would have spawned so many compilations on early YouTube of people chucking this controller at their
Breaking
TV
the
or
TV.
window. So I think it's a necessary Wii football for that factor alone.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
But before we move on so quickly, there's a reason I brought these two specific patents of specifically figure A. What is that? Does that child have like male pattern baldness? He's like already got like the lines going back. I thought the patent was like so interestingly drawn.
Yeah, that is
Wow.
very bizarre. I gotta zoom in. That does not make
I mean,
any sense.
yeah, and then compare.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it looks
Jack's-
like one of those Renaissance paintings with like the creepy old man's face on like a baby. Have you ever seen those?
Yeah, Jack
Yeah.
said it's like a
Yeah.
40-year-old man's face on a 10-year-old's body, and I can't deny that,
Yeah.
really.
But also
Cannot
the patent
deny
is
that.
like super weird. Like the football one is
It
like
is.
pretty simple, but like an inflatable saddle for a horse, like I think a horse game, like horse riding game on the Wii would be interesting, but
Yeah, it wouldn't. There's no way they made it just for a horse thing, though. It would have to be like kind of like how the balance board was like
Yeah,
used for a
yeah.
bunch of different stuff. It would have to be something like that because
Yeah.
the football would probably only be in one game. It also looks like the Wii remote is just duct taped to the football. So maybe I should go in reverse because that's just not that's like reminds
Or
me of
maybe
one
it
of those,
was like a-
plastic
Yeah,
Wii sports
yeah.
accessories.
True. Maybe it was also like one of those ones where it's like an indent kind of. So like you put
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Wiimote
yeah.
like inside of the football. You just place it
Yeah.
in there. I don't know. Don't know how that would work, but hey,
okay, let's move on to the
we're
next
going with
one.
football. Yeah.
Would you rather no more Nintendo Directs or no more Zelda games?
I'm sorry. As a super non-Zelda fan, I have to go no more Zelda games, and I know that might be a hot take for people, but Nintendo Directs, it's like a drug, man, because it's like the copium of them revealing possibly something that you want so badly. It's like, give me it. It's like you love the Nintendo Directs, and there's so much hype like just surrounding them every single time. The internet breaks every time Nintendo announces something big, so I'm gonna go. What?
Jack is pissed.
What?
Yeah, I mean, as someone who like makes YouTube videos about Nintendo and doesn't cover a ton of Zelda, no more Nintendo Directs would be devastating.
Tragic, yeah.
But I feel like from a like if they were just gonna like tweet out games or like put them out in like press releases and like you learn about them through the news, or maybe they just did like a because everyone else is now doing Nintendo Direct, so there's really no alternative to announcing games. They've like pioneered the entire thing. But yeah, I would probably just say like I cannot not say no more Nintendo Directs. Getting rid of all of Zelda is heinous. I am closer to picking that than I think most people listening are, because I would assume most people are on the no more Zelda games or are on the no more Nintendo Direct side. Sorry, keep the Zelda games. Is what I think most people would probably say, but I don't know. Yeah, I have to go with no more Nintendo Directs is what I would rather. So
I definitely went with the selfish angle there, but I mean,
which is completely fair, and I want that too, especially because like I don't want to lose Directs, bro. Those are fun to cover, man.
I know.
Those are fun to watch.
Right?
Yeah, I thought this one was diabolical because like it's Zelda, but also the
Low-key,
Nintendo Directs.
Low key, I think for Metroid, I'm keeping Directs. I
I would give up Metroid. I would give up Star Fox. I would give up Pokemon. I don't care. Honestly, as long as there's Mario, I'm fine with the Nintendo Direct staying and everything else going. I don't care.
Oh man. Yeah, Jack is Producer Jack thinks it's a hot take segment. Yeah, you should not have mentioned Pokemon, brother. You have drawn the ire from PJ and our producer. But
That's crazy.
Anyways, moving on. Let's see. What do we got next? Would you rather a new Donkey Kong Country game or a new 3D Donkey Kong game?
I like this one. This one's like a happy one.
Had to bring
we
us
don't have
back.
to lose some. Yeah. Good pacing on this segment. I don't know. I would say probably considering that we already just on the basis of we already have 5 DKC games and only one like true 3D Donkey Kong, and it's also like Donkey Kong 64, which for its merits has a decent amount of flaws. So I would say probably a new 3D Donkey Kong game. I would love to see what really any team could do with that. Like there was a huge leak that the Spyro and Crash Bandicoot remake, like Toys for Bob, I think, was doing a 3D Donkey Kong game, and then it fell through because Activision was like
Not happy
being
about that.
annoying or whatever. But
Yeah.
Or maybe it fell through because the leak never existed. I see this pattern a lot with leaks. There's always
Yeah,
like
it's true.
some there's some excuse for why, like, oh, it ended up not happening because never mind, I won't go on that tangent. PJ, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'm gonna go new 3D Donkey Kong game. If you guys remember, I believe there was you did it, Mac, where we were trying to figure out the top 5 games with the most collectibles in like all of Nintendo games, and Donkey Kong 64 was at the top of that list, like by far. But yeah, so going back to what the issues could be, talk about like with what Thomas said. But yeah, I'm gonna go 3D Donkey Kong game because like I agree with that line of thinking where we've had a bunch of DK Country games like recently, and we haven't had a 3D game since again like N64. So like seeing what others could do, I'm down with that. So definitely 3D DK.
Yeah, if there weren't the new country games like Returns and Tropical Freeze, I think most people would lean towards country because that's the more beloved series. However, we've gotten those 2 games. Like, obviously, I think there's more Donkey Kong Country to see in the future. However, 3D Donkey Kong, like, that's only
never
happened
see it.
once.
yeah, that'd
so
be cool.
that's where I would lean also.
I could see it
Okay,
happen
next-
post new 3D Mario anyway.
Yeah, true. Next slide, Jack. Of these weird AI-generated Nintendo Switch mock-ups, which one are you more inclined to want?
Well, the one on the Jack thinks it's super easy. I don't know to which. Like I know the one on the right is weird.
We should
The
probably
one-
describe them for our audio listeners because they can't
Yeah.
tell what's going on here. The one on the left is a Switch, like a normal Switch with a Switch attached to the top of it, like near the top. It's not necessarily like a DS like fold, but it's like
Yeah,
Yeah,
it looks
that's a
like
good way
someone-
to-
That's Jack
a
described it well.
yeah.
It
like
does-
a
yeah.
Switch on a Wii U gamepad. That's how he described it.
Yeah.
And then the one on the right is a lot smaller. It's kind of like the size of almost like a old iPhone. However, it's got like some weird hologram thing that you can see like flying around like on top of the screen with a bunch of buttons that kind of gross me out.
Yeah, they look like the C stick like on the new 3DS, like that there. That's what all of the buttons look like. It's kind of weird, but it looks like a PSP. Yeah, I have to go with like the one on the left, which is like the Switch kind of on top of the gamepad because that opens the DS Online to me at least. So I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, I think right now I would prefer the one on the left because it's more of like a traditional Switch, but that is a cool like futuristic idea of a screen that works as like kind of like a hologram projection thing, so you can just play
it looks like
mini
a
games in a 3D
like
space
a
or something.
it looks like a Star Wars thing, like
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
maps when they're like planning out
Yeah, the
like
holo
a
maps or something.
yeah. Okay,
Would
next
be
one.
cool.
Would you rather 3D Mario Maker or an MMO Animal Crossing?
Wow,
Oh,
this is
Man.
really tough. These would probably be like two of my most. I was gonna say they would be two of my like more requested games if I could just make one. But 3D Mario Maker, I feel like, not that I don't have faith in Nintendo to do it right, but I feel like with how like cumbersome it is to share levels and find good levels on Mario Maker, 3D Mario Maker, I feel like would be really tough to like find new levels and like all that. Even if it was just like 3D, making a 3D world style like 3D Mario level, there's not going to be a lot of people who can do that really effectively, I feel like, in terms of the like community. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that's why I'm leaning MMO Animal Crossing, because like normally I'd pick 3D Mario anything, but MMO Animal Crossing is so cool.
Yeah, 3D Mario Maker just sounds very messy. I don't know. It just seems like so difficult to develop because you're just taking so much. I don't know. I have to go with Animal Crossing because like I'm kind of with you. Like, not that I don't trust Nintendo, is just such a confusing concept that I think people say they want more than they really mean. Like, if that makes sense, I don't know. I'm gonna have to go with Animal Crossing though, because I think New Horizons kind of teased it a little bit, but maybe the next Animal Crossing game will go that route. But yeah, tough though, really tough though.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Thomas? Which one are you going with?
I think MMO Animal Crossing. I think PJ kind of hit it.
Interesting.
Like hit the nail on the head. I think 3D Mario, because Mario Maker was so good and translated like the ability to make legitimate 2D Mario levels so well. I think people just assumed that like, and I'm guilty of this, I guess, because I made like all the concept trailers, but like, is even a Zelda maker and like, or like a Pokemon maker, definitely like Kirby would probably work, but Metroid, even 3D Mario, like I think, if in some universe they were able to make it as intuitive and easy to pick up from a creation standpoint as they were able to do with Mario Maker, then yeah, that would be awesome. I just don't think that's possible. Not because they won't be able to like figure out. I genuinely don't think it's possible. Because like 2D Mario, it was, you know, all grid, like, you know, super easy to like transition that over. Whereas like 3D Mario, that's gonna be tough.
Yeah, if there was like a 3D Mario Maker that happened, it would have to be really limited. Like, for example, let's say Sunshine, like you go into Bianco Hills, you would have to have like a limited set of assets to where, like, I don't know. It's not like you could create your own level. You would like be editing Nintendo's own level.
No, they would definitely
like.
be linear like levels. They wouldn't be like the open world collectathon levels in my mind. I would think of them more like the Sunshine secret levels. I think that's more what they would like lean towards in my head. Yeah. I was actually surprised by you guys picking MMO Animal Crossing. I thought this was a slam dunk 3D Mario Maker, but I think you guys have some valid takes with that. Personally, when it comes to a 3D Mario Maker, I think there's going to be enough people in the community that are able to make good levels that I would personally lean towards 3D Mario Maker. They would just need to make the search tools like pretty good so I can find those good levels. But I would personally lean that way, but I understand leaning towards Animal Crossing here.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. Our final would you rather question.
Ooh.
Mario plus Rabbids 3 or
my god,
a second Great Flood. Guys, this is a hard one, right? Like, which one's worse?
Okay, you're gonna have to bleep this out, Jack, but like I would just be an asshole, right? Because I really want to pick a second Great Flood, but I don't want people to go through that. Like, do you know what I mean? I like, dude, I just do not want Mario and Rabbids. Like, I cannot I cannot have Benito winning this.
Hilarious. Keep that in the episode.
No. Like censor it. Like I can't. Like, why do we need Mario and Rabbids 3?
It's so tough because they're so
Great question.
bad. Like, one of them is the end of like civilization as we know it, and the other one is like Mario Rabbids 3. Like, I
thought you were gonna say
they're
one
so
of them is
even.
the end of civilization as we know it, and the other is a second Great Flood.
I was so close. I
You were
was so
so
close
close.
to greatness.
Dude,
I mean, I have to pick Mario Rabbids, but I really don't.
Mario Rabbids, bro. We don't even hate Mario Rabbids. That's what's so fun. Well, like
we
don't.
We
hate it a little bit,
we
but,
don't.
Like, not like, bro. Not
we
crazy.
love
Like,
Mario Rabbids.
I personally don't think it's like a bad game. I just think everyone thinks it's an amazing game. It's like an average game, completely average in so many ways. And I just talked about it a bit in the Mario ranking. Like, it's impressive that it was able to, even be not bad, but that doesn't make a game great. And I don't think it does anything else that would make the game great. The gameplay is boring. Exploring the overworld, you do nothing. There's nothing to do, and the battles are the same thing every time.
There are so many better like Mario RPG experiences just on the Switch alone, let alone Nintendo's entire catalog. So I mean, you've kind of put me into a corner. I do have to pick Mario Rabbids 3 because again, I feel bad for those poor people, but hey.
Yeah, a Great Flood would be
Benito wins again.
Detrimental to society.
Indeed.
I don't know
survived
where's
one.
flooding, but I live in a city still ravaged by the Great Molasses Flood, which is when
What?
it's dude, people, it's so funny because a lot of people outside of Boston have never heard of this, and it sounds like a bit, but it's a real thing, and it's like people died. The molasses like container factory broke, and the streets were flooded with molasses, like the sticky
That's like
molasses.
a comic book villain origin story right there.
Yeah, it's 1919 in the North End, bro. The molasses killed 21 people, injured 150, and caused significant damage to the area.
That's nuts.
I don't. It's impressive. I mean, I don't know how it was so deadly, but molasses, man.
They survived the molasses, they can survive the water. That's what I say.
That's what I'm saying. This is one of the most diabolical questions ever asked on the podcast, and the fact that I'm leaning towards Great Flood still is insane.
You are
but
psychopathic.
No. Yeah, no, Mario and
Mario
Rabbids,
Rabbids.
unfortunately, but yeah.
I want Mario. I would choose Mario Rabbids over like a new
Rapture?
No, I like a other Switch game that I'm not interested in because I enjoy talking about them in the end of the year ranking too much to sacrifice another 30 seconds of
That's fair.
additional comment fuel.
That's
So.
fair. And they got to finish the trilogy,
Well, I wouldn't say that.
It's a great story. It's the story that'll be told through time. Well, thank you everybody for listening to Would You Rather today. I'm sorry that I teased you guys with the second segment. There is no second segment. However, we do have a fan question if we want to move on to that, Jack.
Oh.
From Snorka 1943. He must have been born during the Second World War.
What's going on this episode?
1943? Like,
No, Careful.
You're right. I mean,
Careful.
You're correct.
oh, okay.
I mean, yeah, continue.
Let's read this
I
fan
don't-
question.
Dare I
What?
say, I don't think he's.
You
I
don't think
don't
he's
think
born
he's-
in 1943?
No. Who was the oldest Nintendo Tonight listener, you think?
It's
So
not
this
my
guy
mom.
would be
she
what?
does not watch this.
80?
Has one of your
91?
parents listened to the
81?
pod, Thomas?
If
No?
if my dad has watched this, he may be the oldest.
There
But I
you
don't
go.
think he has. So.
I think it would be active.
Yes, true. Jack said all I
Oh,
know
shout
is
out, though.
Thank you for
Subscribe.
subscribing. We'll
We'll
stop.
hopefully you see it and we can ask you.
We're
as to
roasting
why.
our one fan question. No, you're great.
We're
We
not
love
roasting.
you.
I'm curious on because normally you see that it looks like a year, and it's
A
not.
year?
like in
Well,
the
yeah,
name.
I feel like.
Oh,
like,
yeah, yeah,
Username followed by 4 numbers. Most of the time, it's a year.
Yeah.
Mm.
And Snorka 1943.
Who else
it might
was
just
born
be
in 1943?
a
I
random.
don't
digit.
know. Snorka was. Okay, thank
Jack
you.
said he's doing
He's-
the research. We're answering the question. Jack wants to move this along into the question, which is a great one.
It's a wonderful
what
question.
kind-
Wait, I was gonna do it.
Oh, you got it. My fault. I don't want to.
Fan question. What kind of asset style? Oh, let me start. I apologize. What kind of asset / style reusing remake or sequel would you like to see happen? Kind of like what we got with Link's Awakening or Echoes of Wisdom.
Oh, that's a good question.
It's a good question. It is a
That
good
is
question.
a great question.
Personally, I know PJ where his mind's at. He wants Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl to be, that style to be reused for the Gen 5 games, right?
Oh,
Oh yeah.
absolutely not. I'd rather play Mario Rabbids 3. That's what I'd do. Oh man,
It's got to be
problem is
Odyssey.
finding
an
the
option?
style.
Is Odyssey an option? Like use the Odyssey ship again, use Cappy again.
That's
some of the
what my
captures.
first thought was. But I'm not sure it's like, okay, asset. Yeah, I think Cappy being here makes the most sense. Like using the Odyssey capture mechanic and all of his moves, that makes sense for this in a sequel.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of another one.
I'm trying to think of a better one because there's like, it's kind of like how the SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom was remade, and then they made a sequel to that using the remake engine. I'm trying to think of like other games that could be like done like that. What are other remakes?
You know what? Here, I have one actually. Super Mario RPG with the remake style. I was
literally thinking that.
I think that would be really great. I feel like those characters as well are really great, and they kind of never got like a sequel story past that game. So I think I'd go with that because the remake is so visually appealing for sure. So I'm going with that. That's mine. That's a goated game, by the way.
No, I think that's a great answer.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm still thinking. I like we kind of got that with Tears of the Kingdom, I guess. I'm still I'm thinking of Metroid. Like I know Dread has its own style, but like they kind of Mercury Steam like remade. It's
basically Samus Returns, right?
Yeah, Samus Returns, and then like Samus Returns, if it was on the Switch, I would assume look something like Metroid Dread. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
Great question though.
Maybe Tropical Freeze if my mind's still on Donkey Kong. Like.
Yeah,
finish that trilogy.
I'd be down with that.
That works.
Yeah, in that case, that's what I'll say. Tropical Freeze.
Yeah. In my opinion, I would go with Super Mario World. I think it's the best style of Mario. I think it's unique, but it's also like it feels very Mario without it being like the plasticky Mario we were used to for like many years. It's got character to it. And it's also like I think my favorite 2D platformer, so I'd love to see if they made a sequel to that, which, you know, you could call Yoshi's Island a sequel.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah. No, I would go with that. That's my
That'd be sick. I'm with that.
Yeah. I guess in that case, then I'd also want to say Wonder. Because I feel like the Wonder Flower is too good of an idea.
Just be used also, once,
I think the most underrated part about Wonder was the art style. I think that game looked really good. It looked like World, actually, but like all the way upscaled with the same character.
That's exactly what I would say about Wonder. I think Wonder is great because it's got like a bunch of character and it's like animation and art style that you didn't see in past entries. And I do respect Wonder for putting the effort into that. So I'd be down for a Wonder sequel or bring the Wonder Flower to other games. Like, I remember you made a video about this for Mario Kart. I think that'd be super cool.
Yeah, Wonder Flower and Mario Kart would be cool. I wonder if they like. I wonder. I ponder if they have the confidence in Mario Wonder from like a sales perspective to base like another Mario game around that concept. Or maybe that's not even how they'd view it. Maybe they'd just view it as like, yeah, it's easy to learn what this random flower that changes everything, you know, is. Like, you don't need to, I guess, have played Mario Wonder to derive enjoyment out of seeing the Wonder Flower in like a Mario Kart. So hopefully they do that, actually, because that would be that'd be fun, you know.
I think I could definitely see at least a track in Mario Kart 9 be based on like the Wonder Flower. I think that
would be sick.
That would be Flower
and then there's the Flower Kingdom, and then there's one like section of the track that turns it like top down, where you're like playing, where you're racing like top down.
Oh my gosh, that would
be an all-timer.
Yeah, I don't know how they even do that. They would have to. The next Mario Kart would have to be insane, because like under the guise of Mario Kart 8, apparently the reason they never even made the track change in Sunset Wilds with the like,
time changing
like Sunset was because it would like, how would it work if it's online? It's just what someone said. I remember seeing that, and that makes no sense to me because it's like kind of the same thing as Grumble Volcano, and that still changes online. But like, I doubt they would. I don't know how they would at all. Maybe they had to have independent camera control like from the car, and then as you enter a section, just your camera like tilts up and you. That would be so interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know how they do it, but
yeah,
that would be dope. That would be really cool. This is so unrelated from the actual fan question because we're now talking about like Wonderflower in Mario Kart, but I think that's such a cool idea.
It is.
Like I know I did.
I
did
think
a
you
video
cooked
about
with
it,
that.
but
I think
a whole like concept trailer on that I might have to do that. 'Cause that'd be pretty sick. So, yeah, it's a cool idea.
Interesting.
That was a great question. We got a lot of discussion out of that.
We did.
Yes.
That was
Yes,
a banger.
seriously. Thank you,
listen to this-
Snorka1943. We appreciate you.
Snorka,
And
let
thanks
us know
for
if that's a
subscribing
reference
also.
to the year or not in the comments down below.
Yes,
if you
we would
happen
like
be
to know
listening.
that. We are very
Seriously,
curious.
thank
And also,
you for
everybody
the
else,
amazing question.
if you want us to ask questions about your username, please leave a question in the comments below. We will answer most questions that come in our comments. So if you have a question you want us to bring it up in the next episode of Nintendo Tonight, please do that. And then also, if you're listening on any audio platform, Apple, Spotify, Deezer, leave a review and 5 stars. So yeah, that's basically what we got for episode 73. Do you guys have anything else you want to say?
I just wanted to say that hopefully we can figure out like what Cristendo's username is, because I've been thinking about that one for a very long time. I just don't really know. We think we need that one explained. Definitely need that one explained.
Where that derives from, really.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't know.
unfortunate.
Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you guys next week. And
Later.
goodbye.
Adios.